All right, so we start this series between Dogao and TaToH, and Dogao says, "How you knew?" And TaToH says, "You're normal." Now, I think they're talking about mind games with the draft because there were multiple options to pick here. And I feel like calling someone normal, that's like the most insulting way anyone's ever been called normal. Dogao says, is that supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing? There's definitely some mind games with the draft. TaToH had Khmer, which could have been weaker against Hindustanis, maybe. And TaToH says, when did I say something bad about you? Okay, so classic series with Dogao. Dogao loves to chat. Dogao needs wins here, though, guys. And so if he doesn't get wins today, if he doesn't win this series, he is most likely relegated. If he wins 2-1 or 3-0, still got good chances to survive. The matchup is a matchup that historically has always gone TaToH's way, though. This is always a matchup that Dogao has struggled in mentally, I feel. And so it is very Dogao-like to chat, but, you know, to immediately imply that maybe your opponent won some type of mind game could potentially lead some people to worry for Dogao here. We'll see. Now, Dogao is back home. He's no longer playing from a sink in a foreign country. Yes, he rented a laptop while on essentially his honeymoon, and we coordinated with him to make sure he could have as much time, obviously, in his personal life, but also make sure that he still played the games at somewhat proper time here, to be fair to the competitors. But he's home now, so this should be the sharpest Dogao that we've seen. And he's pushing in those deer. It's rocky forest. You cannot wall on the rock terrain. And Detour is gifting subs. Thank you, Detour. Now, chat, you should be able to gamble your salmon points right now on who wins and loses this. But reminder, there's no rewards. Well, yet. You know, eventually, I don't know. Maybe I'll eventually get around to adding some. So, don't get upset with my mods if there's a misclick later on again, okay? All right? It's illegal to do in Sweden, frowny face? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you can't fake gamble. That's a bummer. Oh, is it bugged? Is it broken? Oh. Okay, well, maybe it's bugged. Well, anyways, we should focus on the games. Romans, I mean, this feels like a really good matchup in the mid-game. Because Hindustanis want to play into... Normally, they want to play into camels. But... camels might not necessarily feel that strong against the Roman option. So if it's not camels, they'll go scouts. Roman spears feel great there, just like against the camels. And then if not that, Dogao loves his cav archers. And if Dogao loves his cav archers, the Romans have the scorpions for that as well. So I think TaToH will probably want to turn this into lots of scouts and spears. And we'll see how Dogao manages it. I think Dogao will probably go for scouts anyways. You still have pretty smooth eco on the back of a scout build, but maybe something like scout archer could be important here for Dogao. But yeah, the start to this season was just not great to instill confidence in Dogao. In the third round, though, he did beat Capwatch 2-1 to give himself a fighting chance. But I'm going to repeat this again because I just love this so much. So basically, Dogao kind of had to choose. In the past, we had players playing all their sets in like 1 week, and the feedback from other players is like, that's not really fair, right? They have all the information on what they need. They've seen so many more strategies. And so we wanted to make sure it was as professional as possible. So when Dogao was like, I'm going to be gone for 2.5 weeks, we said, this is what we can do for you, but we are going to need you to play while traveling. And if that's not doable, you're going to have to be relegated, sadly, right? And Dogao was like, man, it's going to be so tough. He's like, but screw it. I'd rather go down fighting like a man instead of just getting auto-relegated. So he rented a laptop. I think he was in... I forget exactly where he was. He's very far from home, though. And apparently told his fiance as well, hey, we got a game from the hotel once a week. Make sure we get a series in. And he got a win against Winchester, playing on a hotel kitchen sink, apparently. Not sure how Winchester felt about that. But I respect that. I think it's epic that he's like, let's just go down fighting. If we go down at all. And now he's here in these final 2 rounds. Really invaluable. Feudal Age is faster for Dogao. Sees the barracks from TaToH, no surprise. Dogao spent a lot of time pushing deer. Didn't even find those 2 sheep back there. And TaToH scouts forward. TaToH will now see it's a stable opening. And he's going to do the same. But guys, look at the resources collected already. This is the Romans. The Roman eco is one of the best economies in the game. Just 5% greater efficiency adds so much. I really like the pick here. And I think, because of the amount of trash armies we've seen, because of the amount of cav archers we've seen, I think Scorpions could be very deadly in the mid game here. They're cheap with the Romans. And on the back of the economy, there's a lot you can do. Dogao will find his sheep. TaToH might run into them. Wow, that's crazy that TaToH actually got close there. I think Dogao might end up being able to get them, but TaToH's going to try and lame again. Those geese might make it back. TaToH's got to be careful not to overextend with his scout. Dogao's blocking him off, and spear after spear after spear being sent forward by TaToH. Always a great move when your opponent's got the berries on the front, or the wood line on the front. Yeah, and like this already has become a game that the Hindustanis don't necessarily want to be playing if they're opening scouts. In Dogao's mind, he's already thinking, I've got to do damage fast. I've got to get onto archers fast with the amount of spears. This is awkward, man. Kind of hard to follow with this many spears. One mistake, all your scouts are dead. TaToH prepping tons of spears at home. And he'll have 3 scouts, but there are enough defensive spears for Dogao as well to most likely defend this. But you don't really see this much when you're just watching the game. But like, this is essentially TaToH. He's making Dogao work. Like, this is difficult for Dogao. And TaToH loses a scout there. I think he was quick-walling this villager. And Dogao has managed to deal with this pretty nicely so far. Armor's just now coming in for TaToH's spears. You get double the armor upgrades on infantry with the Romans. But is he going to have many spears on the front anymore? Probably not. Also not many scouts. So there goes Dogao over to the gold. And we might see an archery range coming up. T90, do you know what it's called when you open with infantry or archers? It's called an unstable opening. Ha, 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 ha. That was so funny, Norpa. That was so funny. That is my laughing noise. Chat, if that was me, you would drop the minus 7k. The fact that no one's dropped that is offensive. Come on. Now everyone's laughing. Yeah, okay. Well played anyways. That should be a range for Dogao if he can place it. The spears will be annoying. He still is the scouts active over here. And you can tell Dogao's distracted. He's getting hit on the range. He's getting hit on the gold. There's so much army from TaToH. And the spear numbers are starting to overwhelm Dogao a little bit. It's so important for Dogao to complete this archery range. He just needs to start producing some archers here. Now, essentially, in a spear-on-spear fight, TaToH spears are always going to win. And TaToH has more spears, but Dogao knows that once the archers come out, maybe the spearmen won't be that strong. Dogao gets super housed because of the pressure. But he's still done a nice job not to lose any villagers. And what TaToH has gained with the spear control, he's kind of lacked with the scout control. But I still really like TaToH's position. The resources collected should always be better. His eco has not been under pressure. And Dogao has so much work to do. He loses a vill on the blacksmith. TaToH goes back, kills another villager. This is just so much craziness at Dogao's base. And it's just so clean for TaToH back at home. Look at the amount of farms he has right now. Just non-stop spears, non-stop scouts. And so it took some time. But Dogao is just not able to keep up with this fully. I think this is the perfect opening for the Romans against the Hindustanis. And yeah, Dogao just can't keep up with it, guys. Now, I said, I really wonder, because of their history, if game 1 is a landslide victory for TaToH, I wonder how Dogao plays in the future games. Now, those spears are trapped. But it's not even just about this game. I really think confidence could be a thing that Dogao struggles with if TaToH wins this dominantly. It's just perfect game from TaToH. It's just perfect. Tower at home just in case. You never know. Scouts all over the gold. Archers are now out. So now that it's archers and spears, this could start to get a little bit problematic, possibly, for TaToH. TaToH finishes that Vil. 4 villager kills now. But this is where you could probably just add a range and add a couple skirms or archers of your own if you're TaToH. Or not. Or you can add another stable. In the past, TaToH was always a player who would love his all-ins, but not as frequently as present-day TaToH, man. I'm seeing TaToH go all-in Castle Age and all-in Feudal Age more than I ever really remember. Now, he didn't have an account called Feudal Void, and Feudal Void was epic. I wish he would bring it back, but basically, in Feudal Void, he would never go to Castle Age. So it was always Feudal, Feudal, Feudal all the time, but that was more of a meme. That was like a challenge. That was a content thing. But I remember so many games where TaToH just never goes imp and is just all in knights, rams, scorpions. Oh, man, he's going around this way. Well, see, Dogao has balanced out his eco pretty nicely considering. He's finally getting an army forward. Now, he'll see double stable, but he doesn't know where their scouts are at right now. The gold is walled in. The wood line's pretty far to the left, so honestly, we'll see how much damage TaToH can get done. But you can't wall on the rock terrain. You can wall this way. And TaToH's walled up. Yo, D. Carmona, thank you so much. Thanks for the 22 months and reminding me I need to get coffee. I really want some coffee. I'll have to get some in between games, maybe. Yeah, TaToH has bloodlines and armor at this point, so he's definitely in seek and kill mode. And Dogao... he saw the 2 stables before. He might have had an idea. He never made more spears. This is brutal for Dogao. This is so painful. His forward army's done nothing. And now he has to hop out with some archers. I would have loved to see a couple more spears here for Dogao. If he added a couple more spearmen, maybe it would have been okay. He didn't actually lose too much yet. But as I say, that loses 2 more Vils. TaToH's not producing many more scouts. It's just 2 more in those stables, and he will click up to Castle Age. But 6 villager kills from TaToH. It's just so smooth. And these Vils, many of these Vils are weak as well. I think there's weak farmers, too. There's even... oh, there's 1 weak villager on the gold. It's annoying when you're in Dogao's position, because you're in this constant state of wanting to push out, because you're about to be in Castle Age. But you can't, because TaToH just keeps hitting you. And then when you do move out, TaToH's position is based perfectly. Even another tower from TaToH. Look at that. That's actually pretty smart. Don't know how he got the stone for that. Ah, okay. Yeah, so you can palisade on the area that's not rock. That's smart from Dogao to do that. But TaToH's still going to find some damage. And Dogao just out of position again. He has to go forward with his archers. That's absolutely the right play. Just the spears aren't there. And Dogao might think of diving this tower. It's risky, but it feels like a risk we're taking. But he doesn't know the other tower's there. See, if he dives underneath this with his upgrades, TaToH can garrison the other tower and he might be fine. TaToH's killed 7 Vils, but still 80 seconds away from Castle Age. Dogao can make camels. Dogao will have crossbow. This is a really good comp right now. T90 should Dogao have towered? Honestly, I would have liked the tower if it's a situation like TaToH where it protects the wood and also protects the gold. But I don't know if a tower changes a lot against the scouts. Funnily enough, I just think a couple more spearmen in position. I wouldn't have hated an archer opening, actually. If you open archers against Romans and then try and get into archer scout, I think the game flows better for you. Because you can't get flooded by the early spears. TaToH just wouldn't make spearmen to the same degree. Oh, there was an overchop and TaToH was waiting for it. TaToH checked the tree. He knew there would be an overchop. Kills another Vil. And the crossbowmen and the camels are knocking on the door. This could get really tough for TaToH to engage against. But this is where I think scorpions could actually be the play. A siege workshop for TaToH. I like the patience from Dogao not to dive underneath the towers. And I like how he will slowly break through these houses with the Hindustanis. I say slowly. That'll be fast. No bodkin on the crossbows, no attack upgrades on the camels, and look how fast the house is going down. So we've gotten used to TaToH having good micro, but good luck when all this pressure is happening. These scouts might not end up doing enough. But now he's got even more light cav. Just always has another army for Dogao to chase. Yeah, really good recovery from Dogao. I agree. It felt kind of inevitable initially, but this is not a comfortable situation for TaToH to be in. He will be on 3 TCs, but I don't think he'll have the food economy to produce out of all of them. The light cav are going to come home from TaToH. And TaToH loses a Vil. But it will be light cav, scorpions, 3 TCs for TaToH. He should be okay to defend this. I think Dogao is concerned that he's going to get one of his armies caught out here, so he's hoping to group up everything right now. Key for Dogao is actually Siege Workshop in the middle right now. If you got to pull this army back and build the Siege Workshop right there. If you can really start to siege pressure TaToH, Scorpion defense and even Scorpion offense isn't necessarily a great option. But you also need TCs. So there's 2 TCs. There's his 3rd TC. And yeah, we got ourselves a pretty close game here, guys. Hindustanis have Onager, which maybe we should see a little bit more frequently against Scorpions these days. They also get Bombard Cannons. So there are options to the Scorpions. And they also get 9 range hand cannons, which is an easy answer to the Halbs. So this is not a matchup that necessarily is great for TaToH long term. I think we'll see big army numbers from TaToH in Castle Age. And I think it'll be mainly Scorpions. Tower gets seen for the first time by Dogao. That tower pays off. The camels are going to run in. TaToH didn't re-wall that. Now there's no camels from Dogao at home, though. As I say that, he'll add more. And TaToH's got quite a few Scorpions there, but they're not really protected. The spears are right there, though. Dogao is using as many of the camels as he can to kill the Scorpions. I don't know. Is that worth it? Maybe that's worth it. Camels are expensive, but you really just have to prevent that death ball of Scorpions from growing bigger. Now Pikeman is in. It was worth it before? Dogao! 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 Not worth it. Not worth it. Maybe it was microing the crossbows. Maybe it was adding a couple farms. Not worth it at all. And now TaToH can take that map control. But he probably could have anyways because he killed the crossbowman. So Pikes can take the map. Oh, man. Dogao is really struggling. It's always nice when someone gives us a bit of relatable content. Because usually when playing this game, you guys know when one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong. But that's an example of it right there. And what is the plan? I think Dogao's plan is eventually a castle. It might have been... His plan initially might have been getting a castle in the middle when he had the map control. But TaToH has ballistics on the Scorpions now. TaToH has a 10 villager lead. TaToH's eco is flying. Great eco upgrades compared to Dogao. And I don't think you can kill this army now. Like, I think this is just a horrible position to be in. What are you supposed to do when you're a camel civ? You can't add mangonels without TaToH being able to snipe it with the light cav. You can't go crossbows. This is now the position the Romans want to be in. But they've got to push with their advantage, in my opinion. If you just sit back, it could get a little dangerous if you're TaToH. Especially once chemistry comes in eventually. Oh, man. Bad day to be a camel in Dogao's army. But he needs counter damage, and the only way to do that, really, is to go through the middle. So that's what he's trying to do. But with ballistics in, the Scorpions are still doing good damage. TaToH even going for long swordsman now. TaToH's going to go long swordsman. I mean, he could batter down these buildings pretty quickly if he gets long swordsman. It's just such a good Civ pick and so well played from TaToH. Even at the start, Dogao said, you knew or something, right? Like, I think that Dogao didn't like the matchup the second he saw it himself. And, oh, man, the camels have nowhere to go. And Dogao micros a little bit. The TC up there. Goes up in the middle for TaToH. Lightcav will raid. Dogao will react to that pretty nicely. Again, very impressive job to stabilize this game after the start. But this is going to get even more difficult. He's not going to have the time, guys. His plan is a castle defensively because he knows this could get worse, and imp. Which could be doable. He does have golds available here and his main gold. So he has enough gold to go imp without having to go to the middle. But here comes the Rams. Here comes the Swordsman. There's even Arson now for TaToH. Now, TaToH wasn't expecting the Mangonel. So actually, the Mangonels could pretty much put a stop to the Ram push. See, this is where, like, other players, they would have had all this advantage. They wouldn't drop the 3 barracks. They would just drop a castle and go imp. But TaToH just has this switch that goes on in his brain, and it's just, I love it. It's like, I have to attack now, and I must do damage with my army. I think that mentality suits the matchup. You don't want to necessarily wait. And let's see if Dogao can stop this. There's a castle going up for Dogao. If the Scorpions advance further forward, they could possibly deny that. The Swordsman and the Pikemen should be really strong against the Camels, even though they're not all there. Castle's at 80%. Does TaToH see that? He does, but it's going to go up. And okay, Dogao holds. Maybe Dogao can click imp here. Thing is, TaToH's eco is so good. And this army's still so solid at controlling the middle. If TaToH was going knights or something, I think he'd attack the outside now. But he's going infantry and he's going in the middle. Is TaToH gonna all in that castle? He's losing his Scorpions. It's not necessarily great for TaToH. TaToH, he's making more rams. TaToH is gonna try and ram push that castle down. That's crazy, man. And he does it more these days than ever, man. Also, hello, Tony. Welcome to the stream. Dogao will see the castle foundation. And after that engagement, probably think, maybe I've got a chance here. Camels, Ghoulims. Ghoulims still aren't great against the longswords. But Mangonels are. Okay, TaToH could have a big problem here. And now Dogao's going to see the Rams. And now Dogao's like, what? Look at all the army that was in there. The Mangonels have been the real MVPs for Dogao. If he has any chance, it's because of the Mango Micro, but I don't think he has enough. And the Ram train is coming. The Longswords will go for the Mangonels. It's a proper choo-choo from TaToH. He's even at a siege tower somewhere. And Dogao just lost everything, man. There's 35 army for TaToH. Ram after ram after ram coming. Infantry and support. His castle completes. Now he is to take out the stable, the blacksmith, and then probably take the castle. And there is still a Mangonel that pops out behind to hit the Rams. So it is a situation where you would think TaToH could struggle to take out the castle, but he's just got too much. Dogao's got nothing. He's got nothing in queue. He just seems frozen at the moment, unsure of what to make. He will click imp, but will he have a castle? And there's the siege tower. Somebody ordered a shipment of longswords? Here we go. Special delivery. You can use Amazon Prime to get the next day delivery. Or subscribe to your favorite streamer for free. Don't sub to me. Don't sub to me. That was bad. I felt like it was going to be a good idea. It was a little forced. But, GG. TaToH wins. And, man, dude, that was just so TaToH. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that, but he did it, and he sends a message to Dogao. And it just felt like TaToH dominated that game, man. Again, I think... See, Dogao loves the scout openings. Like, he's a little predictable in terms of what he went for. And so are the Hindustanis. And I just wonder... do you maybe have to open with archers here so you don't get flooded with spearmen like that? Because that was so difficult to deal with. Then maybe TaToH makes skirms. Maybe TaToH ends up making like more scouts. And then if your opponent makes skirms and scouts, that's better for camels. There was just no threat at any point for these spearmen, and the spearmen were the key. And TaToH's eco was the key. It was a really nice eco behind. TaToH wins. So Dogao, again, if he loses this series, he's probably going to be relegated. Really needs to get 2 wins at least here. He's going to start next. Game number 2. Well played from TaToH. Okay. So Dogao, almost on cue, just chatting away. Such a chatty guy. And so Dogao at the start says, that's an awful map. So he's complaining about the first map. And TaToH says, Dad gum, you preferred Zong. And Dogao says, of course, that's beautiful. Okay, Dogao. So, Zong, of course, is TaToH's map for game number 3. We will play that regardless here. TaToH's going to want all the wins that he can. And we've got 2 amazing Civ picks here for Cross. We've got Japanese for TaToH. Earlier in the day, TaToH really showed us how Japanese can be played. You could do so much with them so quickly. Take advantage of all the pawns, the early infantry. Ugh, it was so fun to watch. But we've got the Huns, and I'm obsessed with the Huns. I think this can be great for the Huns. It's just all about how much damage the Japanese can do early, honestly. In the mid-game, I think many people would prefer the Huns. So, TaToH's got a pawn directly behind him in the south. It's the same deal for... Wait, sorry, this is Dogao. Dogao's got a pawn directly in the south. TaToH's got a smaller pond in the north. Kind of looks a little bit bugged, but actually it's the same amount of deep fish. We would actually call a restart here if there was less deep fish. But it's the same amount of deep fish, maybe missing 1 shorefish compared to the other, so it's not reable. Is odd, though. 8 225 food deep fish is what the map has as the fixed amount. And TaToH should like his map otherwise. He's got a backup gold in the back. Stone is behind wood lines to protect that a little bit. Berries on the front, obviously, is not great. But main gold's decent. Dogao, main gold right underneath a hill. Stone's golds, I mean, everything. Both of these golds are basically shared. One of these is TaToH's, one of these is Dogao's. And he's got fallback gold as well. So a lot of this just comes down to how they're going to control the map. So I talked about it on stream when we added it like 2 months ago. But I hadn't really seen it or really looked at it that much. Because usually if chat's using emotes, I'll like just glance at them. But I don't really stare at it. I don't know. How many of you guys are aware of the T90 RAM emote? Can we have that spammed here for a second? I saw some people using the previous game. So I didn't request that. But Kaylee and Hardy made it. The 2 editors made that emote. They spent hours on that emote. They took like different screenshots of my face and just decided, let's turn this into an animated emote. It looks ridiculous, dude. I was initially very embarrassed. I mean, I kind of still am, but that's part of the job, so it's a pretty good emote. I'm aware of it in my nightmares, says D-Babs. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. That makes me feel good. Just think, that face right there, that face is getting married. We're doing wedding planning stuff right now. I occasionally have to pinch myself. I'm like, me? Really? And then I look at her and say, man, you're stupid. I say that in a joking way a lot. I'm like, yeah, you chose wrong. But hopefully she never wakes up one day and realizes that she actually did. Nah, I'm lucky, dude. I'm lucky. You gotta find someone who embraces your weird, you know? So, Dogao probably gonna go scouts because it's Dogao. I feel as though he's maybe a little predictable in that way. And TaToH has the tools to be able to open up with the early barracks with all the Japanese savings. So, it doesn't always happen. I think how TaToH played it is getting the most out of the Japanese. But that early barracks is still in some ways going to hold you back from doing other things, like going for sneak docks and whatnot. So we'll see what the build ends up being. Those jokes get old really quick. Better stop thinking / saying that now, man. Well, thank you for the relationship advice, Twitch chat. You don't have to worry. I appreciate your concern, but it's all good. But yeah, yesterday was Valentine's Day, and I'd completely forgotten, and Twitch chat had to remind me, which was on paper kind of bad. But we did go out the night before for our Valentine's Day because we didn't want to go out on actual Valentine's. So I think we're still good. I told her, I said, chat reminded me. She said, that was nice of chat. So Doc will come up over here from TaToH. So essentially, back to my point, you have all this early wood spent. You could go for the barracks. What TaToH's done instead is he's going crazy with the fish. So he's going up to 6 fish up here, so full greed approach. And he's also moving out to go for another dock. So while I like the man-at-arms opening and while I like the aggression, I think that TaToH's, the threat of man-at-arms keeps Dogao worried about that. Dogao doesn't necessarily have a way to punish the greed that TaToH's already going for in the north. So stables on the way up from Dogao. Scouts can be used to control these pawns, which is why it's actually even more important that TaToH's brought a Vil already. Getting the Vil out here at this time is crazy. And Dogao just now checks the shoreline. We'll find the house, which normally means there's a Vil over here. The Vil's actually on this side, though. So he should know about that. Still only 4 fish in his pond. Hasn't moved out to any other ponds yet. Just focused on the scout opening. And he's going to go fast range as well. Now, the thing I love about Cross, TaToH's got the fish lead. He does not necessarily have the land lead. If this becomes Scout Archer right now from Dogao, this gets dangerous for TaToH. He's going greedy, man. And he thinks, just like the previous game, that he can just play full spear defense and be fine for a while. But this is very punishable. He doesn't have any sneak. Dogao's just patrolled this spearman here just in case there's a sneak from TaToH. And I love the decision from Dogao to go heavy land here. Why would you try and outfish the Japanese? You don't have the bonuses for it. You have to play towards land. You have to play towards the aggression. And TaToH, he's got the spears. Nice defense there. He is going to get Town Watch, I think because he's housed. But that's also a pretty good play here. Like, now you just get more vision on the shoreline. You get more vision at home. He didn't see the range follow-up. It was almost immediately after the stable. But he has not been able to come over here to do that yet. And Dogao will see that TaToH's adding a stable here, but just because TaToH has a couple more fishing ships doesn't mean that this is going to be a comfortable situation. I think if Dogao's micro is on point, this could be really tough for TaToH. Obviously, TaToH's eco is a little bit stronger in some ways. And he's to drop a tower. Abandons the wood line. This is really awkward for TaToH right now. You'd expect he has just enough to defend from this and can manage it because it's TaToH, but this is really difficult. Still at the same time, very well played to just keep the villagers working. I like the patience from Dogao, though. He knows that TaToH will never allow him to get the full kills there. And just doesn't want to dive too deep and be there underneath that tower. It's double range for Dogao. Double range, 3 farms already. There are still 6 fishing ships. He's just not playing the pond aspect of Cross at all. And with the tower up there, he's going to move over here now. TaToH's got a villager on berries that he's forgotten about. That will be a dead Vil. This is really good for Dogao, guys. I like it. And I was kind of worried he wouldn't have confidence after the first game. This is confident. This looks smooth. TaToH will be up to over 10 fishing ships in these ponds. But the food income's got to count for something, and it's going to be scouts. And here he comes. He's just missing these 2 archers. He wanted to pick off those reinforcements. Dogao should know that he's there now. I think Dogao should put all the rest of his archers inside the range, and he needs to get some spears out at home right now. This could get dangerous. TaToH's getting bloodlines. TaToH's getting armor. TaToH is walled. So Dogao's doing the right thing to try and mass more army at home. But these upgrades for TaToH are so well timed. I also think it's so good from Dogao to keep moving forward and find some pressure. He might still break in. Another tower from TaToH now. Man, what a crazy game. TaToH will take this fight and could win it, but a lot of his scouts are weak right now. His eco isn't that efficient. I know he's got the fish, but he doesn't have a single farm. He's not on berries. Dogao has all these things. Look at this. This is why I'm obsessed with the map, by the way, because you can win it in so many different ways. There's so many different things that you can do. It's not just about fish booming. It's not just about scouts or archers or skirms. Oh, man. You need to keep your archers safe here, Dogao. You need to keep your archers safe, and Dogao looks away for a second. Maybe it's still okay. He does have more archers coming in. He does have some scouts, but he needed everything to be grouped up properly. And it was in that moment he's probably just walling up, right? Walling up. And paying attention at home. And so he loses his numbers there. Still, resources are looking good for Dogao. This Spearman Archer army is really difficult for TaToH to kill. And TaToH scouts looking for damage. I think Dogao's going to shift towards Castle Age now. Dogao sees TaToH's here. We'll drop the gate. This is still open. This is still open, but he's working on walling up everything. And he thinks this could be open when it's not, but it's funny. I don't actually like adding the gate because it gives the scouts a pretty good surface area to attack. So all the units can attack at the same time. Obviously, in a desperation play, it blocks more space. I think Dogao's done a really nice job here. Yeah, TaToH's trying to click through. It won't work. Dogao should know the scouts are here. Brings the Vil. Scary times, actually. I don't know if that gate is enough. Yikes, dude. Yikes. Yikes. Dogao. Oh, man. Dude, that was so close, bro. That was so close. Well, in the end, it's fine for Dogao. He's definitely breathing a sigh of relief right now. Gate is actually much weaker than that shows. That's 166 HP out of 400, and there's just these two little flames at the top. So if he assumes that that's good, he could be in trouble. But then again, TaToH might not go back there, so. Guys, what a crazy close game. TaToH is fish booming like crazy. He's got 14 fishing ships, and he's Japanese. It's only 6 fishing ships for Dogao, but Dogao's got a pretty decent army. And you do, to get the most out of your fishing economy, eventually need to fish trap if you're TaToH. A couple scouts get thrown away there. TaToH's... Look at his base setup. This is crazy. It looks like an AI's base right now. The way he spaced his ranges, dropping towers. Quite smart, though. He knows the crossbow timing is going to be a big problem for him. Just typical TaToH, man. This is now the second game in a row that he's going for defensive towers. And it just seems to make so much sense. He might need another one on the gold, though. The plan for TaToH's Cav Archers, which the Huns can do as well. But Dogao's going to go Knights. I think Dogao's expecting skirms here. He doesn't know what TaToH's going to go for. I know that this is different than the rest of the game play for Dogao and would maybe be too much of a shift of focus, but I can't be convinced that it's not a good idea to try and dock this right now and make a couple ships there. Like, I think it could be really valuable to try and take those fish away. I do like this. That spearman there is just protecting that shoreline. So Dogao's probably like, okay, he's got 2 ponds. I've got 1. Whatever. I'm Huns. That's fine for me. Will those fishing ships actually work efficiently for TaToH? He's starting to add the traps now. That's expensive, but if he's doing that, they'll be very efficient. And now Dogao sees its Cav Archers. Again, I think Dogao's Knight production, maybe this was to help him break through some walls, but I think he was expecting TaToH to go for skirms. He definitely needed a meat shield for the crossbows, and he's going to go +2 armor for the Knights now. Wow. And the micro from Dogao with these crossbows is really good. Eventually, the Cav Archers become a big problem. But for the time being, Dogao's applying pressure and making TaToH work really hard right now. A second TC for him at home. A couple of villagers get sniped here. Dogao can back away. And now guard tower for TaToH. I just still can't help but feel like this game is just scaling better for TaToH, though. The fishing ships are working nicely. He'll have full armor on the Cav Archers. He has ballistics on the Cav Archers with all the attack. And I just don't know if Knights... I don't know if the food eco is even there for Dogao to make the amount of Knights that he would need. TaToH is 1 TC, but the army count is insane for him. 17 Cav Archers, and look at the resources, too. He can make so many more. Dogao's Knights, with that armor, have done nothing for him. I just think that bonus the Japanese received of having +2 attack versus other archers, which I agree with. Ornlo and I talked about it in a cast last week. I still think it was a bit of an unnecessary change, but anyways, it dictates fights so much now. No one wants to try their own CA against the Japanese because the Japanese CA are just going to beat them. There are exceptions, of course. It's not necessarily that simple, but TaToH, I mean, how is he not going to dominate this game now? These units are just absolutely... I mean, the upgrades are ridiculous. Did he get Thumb Ring, by the way? I guess technically I could see here. He did not. Okay. He still could get Thumb Ring. Dogao's going to go for skirms. The skirms don't have a chance. He doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the numbers, guys. TaToH's Fish Boom, TaToH's defense, TaToH's aggression, just sick here. Dogao's in big trouble. Just every game TaToH plays against Dogao, it's close. You're like, wow, considering the circumstances, this is great for Dogao. And then TaToH just flies, man. Second TC now coming up. Can Dogao get the number of skirmishers he needs to protect his eco right now? TaToH knows he doesn't have those numbers. He doesn't have the armor. There is a counterattack from Dogao, but it doesn't kill much. Maybe a couple vills, but all the knights will go down to the tower and the CA. I want to double check TaToH's pawns again. This is tough to focus on. He's only got 4 fish traps there. He only has 2 over here, so that's tough to manage. But nice map control for him now. All right, so this is essentially the best that you can do. Now you've got +2 armor and the +2 attack on the skirms. Now this could get dangerous for TaToH. And now ballistics is on the way. 2 TCs for Dogao. What will TaToH do? He adds in the Siege Workshop. He's just so good, man. And there's also another army coming over here with the CA. It's such a tough position for Dogao. TaToH's in such good form, man. Oh, man. He's so confident. And GG. Dogao knows, I cannot win this game anymore. And what a game from TaToH. TaToH up 2-0. I think even if Dogao wins the next game, it will not be good for his chances at survival. He does not have enough wins at this point, but TaToH wants to be top of the group. Just a perfect game. I think the one thing I would have liked to see from Dogao is an attempt, after he was doing so much on land, to try and eliminate one of the pawns. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, because technically TaToH still has this, but that's half of it. And then it's not just the fish, it's the focus. If TaToH has to defend on water, he might not be able to defend as well on land. This was just a simplified approach for Dogao's own abilities to just pressure on land, and TaToH held from it. 1, 2, 3, 4 well-placed towers and a fish boom, and TaToH just ran with that. That was so well played. It's been so TaToH so far. All in Castle Age game number 1, guard towers in game number 2. What else is TaToH known for that we could see in game number 3? It's a closed map. I don't know if he's necessarily known for much beyond the all-in Castle Age, but yeah, there's just some of the stats there. Dogao can't keep up today. this maybe is embarrassing, or maybe it's cool. I don't know. But the other night, I loaded up a game between a 60 elo and 70 elo player on Mega Random. I think it was like 2 nights ago. I was offline. I wasn't recording it. And my fiance walked in and I showed her the game. And I was basically talking through, like, you know, some of the easy to understand things about the game, teaching her a little bit. So we watched this like 60 versus 70 elo game. It ended up going for 2.5 hours. We fast forwarded through. We didn't sit there watch the whole thing, but we fast forwarded through it. And this one player, who clearly obviously didn't have a lot of experience, definitely seemed to assume that anything on a horse was stronger than anything on foot. So we unfortunately saw the classic Frank Cav archers. Like having access to Paladin and then just seeing an army of Frank Cav archers against longbowmen. And I was explaining. I said to her, I was like, logically, when you're thinking about it, you think that an archer on a horse is better than any other type of archer. And she says to me, well, it is, right? And I'm like, no, it's actually not. In fact, it's really bad with some civilizations, and it's better to go for the foot archers with certain civs like Britons. And she was like, that makes no sense. Anyways, why are we talking about this? We got Khmer versus Turks. Ooh, okay, Turks. I feel like Turks have fallen out of the meta on closed maps. I feel like they've been replaced by some civs, you know? We see a lot more Bengalis. We still see Bohemians, Burgundians. We see the Cumans even. Maybe the Portuguese. But the Turks, this is a classic. Haven't seen this too much. This is not a map, despite what Dogao said previously, that he's really going to love. This doesn't suit him all that well. But hey, maybe this is good for him, because the problem for him in this matchup is TaToH is good wherever he's comfortable. But yeah, TaToH should love this. TaToH could do some crazy things with the Khmer. We saw Khmer on Fortified Clearing in the earlier rounds. So you can go for a really fast castle, compete for the relics. There are other relics out here. The buildings here are shrines that can build a priest, which is a 75 gold monk. You cannot put relics inside of them. You can just produce the priests. So they've got no space in there around the fire or whatever's going on in there for the relics, apparently. So you'd have to build a monastery to put the relics. But you can pick them up, and you can drop the relics inside your walls for later. But you have to chop through the trees beforehand. So you can't get there. The trees also have 150 wood, so it takes a little bit longer. All right, guys. So I haven't had coffee yet, and I really need coffee. We've got another big series after this. And also, while I try my best to distract from this fact, where all my knowledge comes from are the many people watching me right now. I lack all the skill, the understanding, and even the humor, right? Everyone watching is just better than me. So, naturally, people who are better than me, please show those on YouTube your skills and your knowledge. I will be back. We may see a fast feudal here from TaToH, so, you know, keep your eyes peeled, but most likely fast castle as I go get my coffee. Really? There's been 0 wisdom so far. This was a test. I was waiting for wisdom. Okay, well, I'll be back anyways. All right, I have returned to interrupt your nap and your silence. Let's see what Chad had to say. Someone said, does anyone else dislike T90's mustache? Kinda peaceful, not gonna lie. What is everyone's opinions on soup? Yeah, okay, great job. Great job. I got coffee. So remind me to show you later. I forgot about this mug. So my future mother-in-law for Christmas got me a mug last year. And on it says, tears of all the people I've beaten in AoE. I assume is custom made. I don't know if this is... I don't know where she got it. But yes, I'm drinking a mug that says, Tears of all the people I've beaten in AoE. So, we're back. What did we miss? So we got a stable from TaToH. He's on the way to Castle Age already. And Dogao is going to send it, people. Dogao's... Oh, I know the build! I know the build from Dogao. Okay, so here it is. Ready? This is ultra all-in. So you go stable, so you can make light cap for map control. You use the light cap for the map control, and you drop a castle on your opponent's face. That's what this is. This could work. It either works really well, or it's absolutely horrible because your villagers get sniped or something. But yeah, he's getting Loom. He's definitely going to go all in here. That's at least 3 people? Yeah, that's true. I've beaten at least 3 people in this game. Just a lot. TaToH's bringing a villager, which makes me think he's going to siege push. So actually, what TaToH is going to do is one of the worst things that he could do against Dogao's strategy. I think he wants to go siege and light cav. He also wants the relics. There's the siege workshop. Now, Dogao will be able to see that TaToH has multiple scouts, which is actually really important. So he won't show his hand early. TaToH's going to think he's got real opportunity to get a push going here. Haha, chat. You guys are so funny. Thank you. Sorry I had to step away and get coffee, but I figured there's no better time. TaToH will get the first relic. Again, you have to build the monastery to put the relic inside. There's the ram for TaToH. Dogao does not know about this. Oh, he does know about this. Excuse me. Yeah, honestly, like, guys, Dogao might be relegated at the end of the season, but TaToH's fighting for first. TaToH's fighting for playoffs. When other people have gotten, like, or may get wins on Dogao, it's a really big deal. Every game matters. Doesn't matter which game it is. And here we go. Yeah, the coffee was already made this morning, so it was a reheat situation. So here's TaToH. TaToH's like, I am going to completely destroy him. He can see the 3-0 already. He's laughing in his TaToH ways in confidence. But he's about to break through, and Dogao will show up, and TaToH has to immediately abort the plan. This is horrible for TaToH's build. Had Dogao boomed, it could have worked. But considering that Dogao is going for full army, it catches him off guard, and now TaToH's going to boom. Now, here's where this gets crazy, right? TaToH won't have the army for map control. He's over-invested into an attack. If Dogao goes forward with the vills now, that castle's going up. It shouldn't get denied. So let's see if Dogao still does that. And here he goes. This is good. I like this. Now, what you could also do is you could just place it safely kind of towards the middle. But I really like the castle on the opponent's walls. It at least has to range the opponent's walls in this scenario, in my opinion. This is really bad for your eco. To go on the stone so heavily, to walk across the map. You need this to work. But if TaToH sees this, TaToH could try and stop it. He's added a knight now. There's also the monk. I think Dogao needs to place this castle a little bit further back. And, like, right away. And wall it in. And don't... Dogao, don't give up a light cap to a conversion, bro! There's knights! Oh, my goodness. Well, let's see if he can get it up. If he can get the quick walls down, he might still be able to complete this. But he needs every quick wall. And it needs to be faster than that. Here we go. TaToH can make scorpions because the siege workshop's so far away. And, okay, never a doubt. It goes up. Never a doubt. I was really concerned there. I thought that was going to be denied. I'm actually surprised. If TaToH didn't get so distracted, I think he could have maybe denied that. And now, this gets dangerous for TaToH. He's 3 TCs. But, like, Janissaries are going to come out of here. And Dogao didn't have a blacksmith, so he can't make a siege workshop. But your Turks just toss a bunch of vills onto this gold. That's fine. New villagers from the TC can go to wood if you need that for the siege. And just full gunpowder. And TaToH did make a Scorpion somewhere. Oh, he made another Siege Workshop. Okay. So yeah, he wants Scorpion defense, I guess. And Dogao's gold miners are kind of exposed. They're not directly next to the castle. And TaToH was able to get 2 relics into his base. 8 ranged Scorpions for the Khmer, so could actually defend from this. But Janissaries killed the siege so quickly. And the Mangonels do as well. Dogao, build a mining camp. Build a mining camp. Build a mining camp. Mining camp. Okay, he's pushing forward. He kills the Scorpion. He's focused on that instead of the mining camp. He didn't have the wood for it, so there they go on home. Okay. Well, that's a bit of a problem. Now, do you stay home or do you go back forward? He's bringing them home intentionally, it seems. Okay. So he wants his villagers to be safe. Over here, killed the monk there from TaToH. TaToH was able to get a 3rd relic at some point, but there's still a lot of pressure. And the vills are going back. We got the wood for a mining camp now. We're heading back. All right. Honestly, though, like, taking the gold is so valuable, so it's a good spot to be in. You also need vills forward to repair your mangonel in moments like this. A little sloppy from Dogao, but he's not used to this type of all-in focused pressure. This is not his typical play. Nice play from TaToH to hold on here, but he's still not in a comfortable position. I think the Scorpions were actually a great play, though. I think when it becomes double and triple mangonel with the Janissaries, it becomes a problem, though. It's still so tough for Dogao to afford that. Usually you have to use the market here. You should be buying wood in this scenario for the next mangonel, I think. Gotta be so careful here. This is Khmer we're talking about. And TaToH... Oh, he got a little too greedy! Got a little too greedy there. Almost got the kill. Do not have a lot of eco to work with right now if you're Dogao. The wood situation is so inefficient. Almost feels like he wants another castle forward, doesn't he? The knights for TaToH will dive. Think about it. Nice play from Dogao. Nice play from TaToH as well. The micro is actually fantastic from both of them. But you have to respect the fast imp from the Turks, too. So you can't just make a bunch more knights here for your TaToH. If you're going to make more knights, you have to make all the knights and all the upgrades. It's either or. Seems like he's saving his resources for imp. Khmer Scorpions are insane. I feel like it's not talked about enough. They're absolutely insane. That's supposed to be a counter unit. That mangonel. TaToH will take that trade. I don't know the math, but will absolutely take that trade. And Dogao is not making another mangonel because he wants to go up to the Imperial Age. Fast imp. Behind this castle in the middle. He can make bombard cannons right away when he's an imp from that siege workshop. This is the power of the Turks. How is TaToH still in such a smooth position, though? Like, this is... Again, I think the worst possible thing TaToH could have done against this push is exactly what he did. Pressure with light cav and Scorpions. Because it delays his boom. He lost the Vil. It put him under so much pressure. Did TaToH spot that those went this way? Because if he did, we could have a massacre on our hands. Oh! Run away! Run away urgently! Okay, that's smart. Sacrifice the light cav for the cause. Yeah, but what are you supposed to do with these units now? Oh, no, and now the knights are on the gold. TaToH! He's getting some picks here. Just so well played. And beautiful. I mean, he doesn't know what we know, right? He doesn't know the positioning of everything. It's so easy when we're on all visible all the time to think about doing all this, but TaToH just, he reads the game so well, man. And TaToH is going to actually beat Dogao to imp. And Dogao has to go all the way home because if he moves out with this, it's a problem. And honestly, TaToH's going to make a ram now. The push isn't dead. We've come full circle. TaToH can just go back to the push, and now it makes sense. And now, no, now Dogao has to build a defensive castle in his base. It's the right play, by the way. It's not ideal, but it's the right play. There's no other move I could suggest. You need to defend from this. You can't in any other way. Oh, man. Janissary's here dying because he's pushing here. He sees TaToH's building his own castle. He backs away over here. TaToH's castle's at 65%. Look at the repairs there from TaToH, even to keep his scorpions alive and kill the camels. He's just so good. And TaToH obviously needs a castle for trebuchets. He can't make bombard cannons. And his castle will complete. So he should have a treb on the way. His army here can't really progress in because of the castle. And Dogao doesn't realize ballistics is in. Maybe he does, but yeah, treb's on the way for TaToH. I mean, this push, it's a mix of, I think, Dogao not believing he could do a lot of damage because of how good TaToH was playing and just how good TaToH was playing. Like, it's amazing that TaToH's been able to accomplish this much. Just economically, 71 vills versus 47. Bombard cannons become the most important unit in the game for Dogao. He cannot lose these bombard cannons. And this is the one time where he is actually outranging TaToH in every single way. TaToH repositioning over here to eventually try and break through. But it will be Treb and bombard cannon now for Dogao. If TaToH loses this castle, we get a crazy game. The Janissaries are still here to protect. There's villagers still here repairing. TaToH's 3 relics will go down. TaToH's trebs will go down. Everything will go down if he loses this castle. This could work for Dogao. As crazy as it seems when you look at the score. Bombard cannons just can't be killed. The only way TaToH can kill them is diving underneath the castle. And for that, he needs knights. And that's not going to be easy to do with his eco. And against Janissaries. First treb goes down. Dogao is wandering a little too far. Needs to be careful. Dogao has one job. Bombard cannons, Janissaries. You never stop. Don't even think about a camel at this point. Just bombard cannons, Janissaries. Repair your castle. Non-stop. And ignore this. You ignore this to the best of your ability. You wall it out. Oh, man. TaToH's backed away with the trebs. He doesn't think he can do it anymore. He's just repairing the castle to buy time, guys. What do you do now if you're TaToH? I guess at any point when Dogao's no longer under a castle, he can take better fights with scorpions and with knights. But Dogao could drop another castle. He could buy the stone for that. TaToH's castle is down. And let's not forget, there's not a lot of gold available if you don't have the middle. TaToH can take these 2 tiles. He has the few tiles that are in the back of his base. But he's also going to lose the relics. Dogao! So easy to make a mistake with this push. This push is so fragile. But the bombard cannons are the key. And Dogao had a couple units here get sniped by the scorpions. It's a good move from TaToH to try and disrupt. That's probably why Dogao had that slight misstep there seconds ago. There's always an explanation. It's not, what is this player doing? There's usually, well, not always. They are human after all. But usually, they're right there. He loses a couple units because he's focused here, right? Siege engineers now for TaToH. Now, that'll take his scorpions up to 9 range. I don't think heavy scorpion is really something he can afford. A lot of the clowns out there would really like to see some monks for Dogao in this situation. And I would agree. TaToH thinking about diving. Imagine 2 or 3 monks healing and converting here. TaToH's ram scorpion push still doing something crazily. But Dogao's being patient. What a fight. Here come the monks actually from behind. And the scorpions are getting flattened by the bombard cannons. TaToH's knights have no armor upgrades. And TaToH will dive. I think he knows the one bomber cannon is weak, so he'll send everything for it. He gets the kill, but at what cost? Is that worth it for TaToH? Well, now it might be. Yeah, maybe. What a crazy game. 40 villager lead for TaToH. He'll soon run out of space and gold, though. Dogao probably needs to just remass a little bit here. But it's hard to think like that when you have such little eco. And went, oh man, now TaToH. Oh, he's made a bomber cannon at home to deal with that. That's so well played from Dogao. And now the Trebs. Okay, the Trebs. 3 Trebs versus 1 bomber cannon. I'm taking the Trebs every time. I've seen what Trebs can do. Okay, Dogao cleared up the raid. Man, these Janissaries are so weak. And they're so expensive with this economy. You gotta stay away. TaToH gonna make archers now. From somewhere. From back here. You know, TaToH could sneak and take these side golds. I don't think Dogao would ever think about that. So, TaToH could just go anywhere but in the middle. And maybe still be fine. Oh, man. Treb kills the cannon. It's so tough, man. Dogao microed it, but because the Trebs aren't completely accurate, you don't really know where those shots are going to go. And that's, I mean, not luck. But I mean, it is luck for TaToH, but it was calculated in that he knew that there was a chance that could happen. Dogao wants the relic. That will be denied. And Dogao's push is running out of steam. He doesn't seem to have confidence to push forward. He is going to drop a castle here, though. Interesting. I mean, I think he knows that TaToH's got some eco over there. And he thinks TaToH's got all of his defense here. He doesn't know TaToH's Trebs are coming to the left side now. TaToH might go forward with those Trebs to take this castle. Now TaToH's eco is being attacked on the right. And that castle for Dogao will be the second castle on front for him to make Janissaries out of. But TaToH understands his eco is superior, and he just needs to hold. This is probably going to make him feel somewhat okay. And what just happened there? Did Dogao just delete his Treb? I think Dogao, he tried to delete his castle foundation to move it because the Treb was there. But he clicked the Treb instead. Oh, poor Dogao. I can't even blame the hotel sink for that one. Oh, that's painful. And now Arbalest is here. Where are those Trebs from TaToH? Oh, the Trebs are back now. The Trebs are back onto the castle. Dogao's not even completing this castle. TaToH's got so much so quickly. There are 4 bomber cannons. Look at TaToH's split micro, though. And once the castle's out of the picture, the Scorpions can get much closer. Everything can get much closer. Remember, TaToH's got a significant eco lead behind this, so as long as he's not getting completely overrun, this should be good for him. He had the patience to get the Arbalest. His micro's been fantastic here. And it feels like we're just one fight away from the 3-0. And I think it's going to happen here. That's not enough for Dogao. TaToH's micro is too good. He'll snipe the Janissaries. He'll snipe the bombard cannons. His Trebs are still back here to take out the castle. And I guess if there's any consolation, if Dogao didn't delete that Treb, he's still probably dead. I still think this castle gets denied. I still think TaToH gets the 3-0. Just so well played from TaToH to hold from this pressure. Makes it look way too easy. Makes it look like it's not even fair. It's honestly even unfair to Dogao. You look at this and just think, you start to question Dogao a little bit, but TaToH, it's expand everywhere on both sides. Such a nice recovery. It is an awkward matchup in Imp, but how he was able to make it to Imp faster than the Turks there against that pressure was just so well played. He's just so relaxed. It felt like he was fairly comfortable to just micro those 4 Knights and 5 Scorpions and boom towards Imp. And then he just, I mean, at this point, he's going crazy with the production. Arbs in queue, Knights in queue, Vils in queue everywhere. And TaToH wins 3-0. So I think this confirms Dogao is out. We'll double check on that. It still might not be the case. But there's the eco from TaToH. I think Dogao just lacked experience with that push. And honestly, against any other Civ, against a Civ that isn't Khmer, Janissary Mangonel has so much more success. TaToH was able to hold with Scorpions. That's not normally a thing. And I don't think you pick Khmer to match up against that push well with Scorpions. I just think he ended up using it perfectly once the situation arrived. But let's see what the odds say about Dogao's chances now. And obviously TaToH's chances. TaToH's chances should be pretty good for first. We have another series coming up. So don't go anywhere, guys. But let's see. Wrong group. Sorry, I think this is Group C. So bottom two, you're out. Also, is my chat not working here? Oh, it is there. Okay. So we input the results. Dogao has 1% chance at survival at this point. Here's the mug I was talking about. I don't know if it'll focus on it. Yeah. Tears of all the people that I've beaten in AoE right here. Tastes amazing. So Dogao most likely out. TaToH still has 2 sets to go. So maybe TaToH can save himself. We'll see. TaToH, though, big chances to get first place after that. We have ACCM Winchester next. ACCM Winchester could easily see both, Winchester or ACCM up at the top towards TaToH, so we'll see.